Steve's asked me to share my testimony for part of this service. As many of you know, I grew up in a Christian family. My dad's a minister, and I'm one of 6 kids. Been a minister's kid. Grew up in Maxwell on the North Coast. It was very enjoyable. Was particularly as a young kid and kind of most of primary school was not really knew the right answers to do with Christianity. Went to church, went to Christian school, but not really. Certainly didn't have personal faith. Then high school comes around. We moved from Maxwell down to Sydney, and kind of making friends became more important. So I moved in year 8, and so year 8 to year 12 was mostly trying to settle in at a school, making some friends, all that sort of stuff, typical teenage stuff. But as particularly year 11, I felt a sense that there would come a day soon when I'd have to decide on this Christianity thing. I was never like a rebellious teen. You hear the typical minister's kid story of minister's kid going off the rails. I was never too much like that, but at the same time, I was never really properly committed. I'd rather want to have fun with my mates. I was never tempted to believe other things. Always found the idea that the world was created out of nothing, the atheistic viewpoint. I never thought that was really logical. And other religions, I knew Christianity was different in that sense to what they believe. But in year 11 and 12 particularly, this started to really play on me, and I felt like afterwards, thinking back, I knew kind of God was moving in. And so this idea that God works in your heart first, I've never really doubted that belief from the Bible, because that was my experience. Not that we should base all of our beliefs on experience, but what happened in year 12, I was playing footy, broke my jaw. I was meant to play like a kind of at the Australian Schoolboys, but I broke my jaw. And then a week later, I got a stomach virus. So trying to spew up with the broken jaw is pretty bad. And so it was a pretty down period. I was feeling pretty down about it, because it was a big opportunity missed. And sport was the only thing I was actually good at. So I thought. And I kind of spiraled a bit. And then I just remember, I'd go kind of drinking a bit with my mates, but just remember this one night. It was during the June, July holidays, school holidays in year 12, and my mates were all going out, and I just didn't want to do that anymore. I knew it was the wrong thing to do, and I knew I had to make a decision of do I want to follow God? Do I want to take this seriously, or do I want to just keep doing what I'm doing and not be happy? And so, not in a big light bulb, vision from God moment. It was just in the back of my mate's Tarago. I would say that's where I became a Christian. A couple of things, how it impacted my life. I went straight from year 12 into working in ministry, so camp ministry, youth works down in Sydney. And the other thing that really started is I really started to want to read the Bible for myself and understand who God is and who Jesus is by reading it for myself, by myself. And so I was never a reader. So people who say, "Oh, you're just a reader," I read a lot now, but I'd read one book during the whole of high school. I hated reading. But one thing that I think God laid on my heart is I needed to know Him for myself, not through my family or through my schooling, but knowing for myself. And so since then, since 18, 19 age, I've really wanted to know God through His Word and through meeting with Him over His Word. So that's my story. Thanks.